This was just 12 hours ago. Right now it's 8:24 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, July the 15th, 2018. And where this fight took place over in Malaysia, it's actually 12 hours prior. So it's about 25 p.m. over there in Malaysia. So Pacquiao's getting ready for the after party. Over there, the fight took place in the morning. So this main event started at about 11:30 p.m. My time. So I got a chance to go to sleep, woke up to a copyright strike, and now we're doing another video. I'm TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live. You can't take nothing away from Manny Pacquiao's win. He'll be 40. He'll be 40 in December. He'll be 40. Now, I will say this. In sports today, with modern medicine and technology, athletes all across all sports are able to extend their careers. So I really don't consider 39 to be old in boxing these days. I would consider maybe 40, to be like, okay, yeah, you're old in boxing. So Pacquiao is right there. However, he's not the same Manny, that he used to be. But at this point in time, he can still compete with majority of the 147-pound fighters. In regards to Matthysse, I never really felt that he was a 147-pound fighter anyway. When he moved up, he was coming off of a soul-searching type deal where he lost his soul to Victor Postol. Before that, Denny Garcia, 147 pounds. And he just seems like a mentally shot fighter. I mean, if you tap him on the face, you tap that eye, he's going down. You seen that, come on, you're getting body beat by Pacquiao and you're getting uppercutted by Pacquiao. That's not Pacquiao's MO. Nonetheless, Pacquiao looks sharp, and you got to think that maybe there's some people that wanted this event to fail for Pacquiao and for him not to look good so they can say, see, I told you so. You should have stayed with such and such. Top rank. Right now he's his own promoter. This was MP Promotions, and Golden Boy is kind of a co-promoter, but they wasn't a full-fledged co-promoter because they didn't fly over until they got their money from Pacquiao, which was like 2 weeks ago. In fact, this fight wasn't picked up in the United States by ESPN Plus until about a week, about 10 days or so before the fight. So there was some issues. Many thought that this fight wouldn't go on, but it is official now that Pacquiao is his own promoter, and he is doing business on his own, something that people said he should have done a long time ago. However, I do have issues with the $20 million that he allegedly owes in taxes. We're going to talk about that later on in the video. And also, damn, is it true he didn't call Freddie Roach after Freddie Roach's mom died? He was your trainer, bro. Like, that's sinful right there. And by the way, I do believe that Pacquiao did look like he was a bit full of sin last night. If you don't know what I'm talking about, when Pacquiao was, let's say, what I call Sinner Pacquiao, during the Sinner Pacquiao days, where he used to be drinking Hennessy, doing the cockfighting, he would admit to all these things, the adultery, with the love child. I know about that, the violent, movies and all that. He was whooping people's ass. But then, after Marquez knocked him out, what was it? Was it after Timothy Bradley 2, or was it after Marquez knocked him out? Before the fight, Jinky said, yeah, I'm divorcing you. And then he found Christ. So now he went from senator to senator for the Philippines, the president of the Philippines, whatever you think about him or not. I don't know. See, because here in the United States and with media and everything, there's a lot of propaganda. So I really don't know. But from what I'm getting from what Filipino boxing fans are telling me about the situation over there is that there's some fucked up shit going on. And then it doesn't help that Pacquiao was like, yeah, like he don't like gay people, and he want to put, like criminals, like drug dealers to death. But it's like some shady rules with how they can put you to death. It's like if you're involved in drug dealers, put it this way, from my understanding, you could be like with some drug dealers because they're your homies that you grew up with. But if you with them, they can lock you up and put you to death. Manny all for it. Allegedly. I don't know. But it's some kind of, shady shit going on. But he is the WBA Super World Champion, which means, and I looked at the belt. It said, in fact, let me go find some photos for you. It said Super Champion. So, Keith Thurman, you can say he has officially been demoted, and you can say that he was going to be stripped of his WBC title. Let's go look at the, I'm going to use BoxRec right now. Let's go look at the 147-pound division. Right? Now, here is my opinion on things. Errol Spence is de facto 147-pound champion. He's considered to be the number one guy at 147 pounds. Crawford has this asterisk by his name because he's kind of like number one, too. Like, kind of like the boogeyman. Everybody's waiting to see what he's going to do at 147 pounds because they're still not convinced with Terrence Crawford. Keith Thurman, who you don't see right here because he's been injured. Keith Thurman is number one by right because he was the unified WBC and WBA champion, but he hasn't fought since March of last year, and it's heavily rumored that he's going to be signing with a promoter called Eddie Hearn. We're going to talk about what that means in regards to Pacquiao a little bit later. And they're having a press conference this Tuesday, the 17th. I'm going to be there in New York, and if he's there, we're going to talk about it. But when you look at the 147-pound division, right now, the number one guy should be Keith Thurman, but by de facto, let's say it's Errol Spence, Keith Thurman, Terrence Crawford, and then the winner of Danny Garcia, these guys right here, Danny Garcia and Sean Porter, right, are going to be fighting for the 147-pound WBC title that Keith Thurman vacated. And the winner is definitely going to be, trying to, well, the winner will likely try to go on to a big fight, but Errol Spence is likely going to try to pursue that. But see, now that Manny Pacquiao is a champion, that adds a whole different dynamic to things, because what that means is now people are looking like, oh shit, Manny's still around, and Manny Pacquiao is still right now the number one 147-pound cash cow. He is the number one money getter at 147 pounds. So guys like Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence, Danny Garcia, Sean Porter, all these guys want him. Hell, even Jeff Horn. Let me go look at it real quick. Even Jeff Horn looking like, oh shit, I want my rematch, because still right now, Pacquiao Matthysse is trending still right now. He wants his shot. What did he put up here? He wants his shot. He wants that money grab. Another fighter you have to look at is Amir Khan. Now, Pacquiao and Amir Khan were supposed to fight before, but what happened was the fight was supposed to take place in Abu Dhabi, if I'm correct, and they couldn't come up with the money, even though we've heard for years that Amir Khan has all these, sheiks, all these iron sheiks, and these Arabian kings that will have him fight on a yacht for billions of dollars and shit. But it didn't turn out. Amir Khan and his team, Eddie Hearn, are positioning to have their fight, which is September the 8th, against Samuel Vargas. Here, let me go pull it up in case you don't know. This is why I feel that Pacquiao versus Khan will likely be next, especially if Pacquiao fights this year. But if they were to fight, it would have to take place in December. Hey, let me just pull it up for you so you guys can see. Amir Khan is fighting Samuel Vargas. I saw Samuel Vargas fight Danny Garcia here in Philly a few years back. Long, crazy story about that fight. How I was sick as shit, still covered it. But anyway. September the 8th and 20th of this year. So if Khan, is to walk through Samuel Vargas, like a lot of people think he will, no disrespect to Samuel Vargas, but one thing about Amir Khan is we know anybody can knock him out. His chin is suspect. But if he was to fight Pacquiao, then it would have to be in December. And that's usually around the time Pacquiao fights, right? Right? So don't be surprised if this Khan versus Vargas fight ends up being an eliminator to be the mandatory for Manny Pacquiao. And with the WBA, the title organization that Pacquiao, is champion of, they're weird when it comes to their belts. You would think that, well, they're going to order Pacquiao to fight, Keith Thurman, but win. And when it comes to that Super World Championship, I really don't want to explain it, because it's it doesn't really make any sense. We don't know who Pacquiao's mandatory is going to be in regards to the WBA. They're going to do whatever they want. Logically, you would think it would be Keith Thurman, right? But no, they could very well make Khan versus Vargas the eliminator. You know? So right now, so many doors are open for Pacquiao because he has no promotional, restrictions. For example, in this case, Pacquiao is not working with Bob Arum anymore. He's not working with Freddie Rhodes. He's cut that whole sector out. He's putting on events under his own banner now, so which means in regards to broadcasting, he can do whatever he wants. Who has the most money? Who has the bigger deal? You can't tell me that those 147-pound fighters that we mentioned, you can't tell me that these guys wasn't watching Pacquiao fight last night. You can't tell me that they wasn't. You can't tell me that they wasn't thinking like, damn, that money's right there, and I know I can beat him, even though he's 39 years old. The money is there. All these guys, if they fight each other, they can't make the same amount of money if they were to fight Pacquiao. That's the truth. So with the good and the bad, we got to talk about the tax situation that ESPN kept mentioning last night about how Pacquiao allegedly owes $20 million to the IRS. And if that's true, it works like this, right? And I talked about it. I chatted a little bit with some fans about it. Over here in the United States, the way it works is they don't take the money. They give you the opportunity, meaning the IRS. They give you the opportunity to pay your taxes. And what happens with that, a lot of times when it comes to athletes or, people with a lot of money, they think, I'm going to just pay that shit later on because I'm going to keep making money. And then the IRS is say, okay, all right, we're not going to come at you this year. We're going to wait until that shit starts adding up a little bit. Then if we see you in trouble, financially, we're going to come and take all of your shit. So people are saying, well, if he's really in trouble with the IRS, they're going to take his shit in the United States. They're going to take his Beverly Hills compound or whatever it is. They're going to take all his cars and assets. Yes, that may be true, but they're giving him time likely to pay, or we don't know if he ever is going to pay. Right now, the way it looks is that he don't never have to come back to the United States, and it don't seem like he's planning on coming to the United States, especially since he cut off his American connections to his promoter and his trainer in the United States. He fought in Australia, fought in Malaysia. His next fight, if it's against Amir Khan, could likely be in the UK, But knowing Eddie Hearn, he'll probably want to put it in a stadium, so it won't be in no stadium in no December or nothing like that. But still, nonetheless, overall, right now, like I said, Pacquiao was in a good situation, man. But if that tax situation is true, he don't want to end up like Wesley Snipes. Go look it up. He come back over here, for like a media event or something, or just come over here to vacation with Jinky and Boo Boy, and then they lock his ass up and take all his shit. He don't want those type of issues. But the good thing about Pacquiao is that I explained to a lot of people is, unlike other athletes, he has a whole nation behind him. He's a national treasure, especially like he's friends with the president. Pacquiao is not, ever going to be broke. He's never going to be broke. The only concerns I have right now is he's going to be like an annual fighter now. It doesn't seem like, he says he wants to fight again this year, but he doesn't see, I don't believe it, And right now, people are going to be mad, but I think he's going to, what they say, cherry pick his last opponents. Floyd did it. Why can't he pick his last opponents, right? Why can't he say, I'm going to go out on my own terms? Maybe Conor McGregor, You think the UFC would allow that? Pacquiao McGregor at 145? Wishful thinking. Anyway, I'm TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live. Please subscribe.